welcome back to NAV Forum. Today we have Natasha. Natasha is a friend of mine who was recently diagnosed of breast cancer. She's a cancer survivor and here to share her journey with us. And this is to touch anyone who might be going through the same issue. So we've got a statistic from UK breast cancer, and it's stating that there is 54,500 cases of breast cancer each year diagnosed, and this is from 2016. In men, there were around 370 new cases, again 2016. Breast cancer is the most common cancer in the UK, with one woman diagnosed every 10 minutes. Around 55,000 women and 370 men are diagnosed with breast cancer every year in the UK. Today I have Natasha here, who is going to share her cancer journey with us. Natasha is a cancer survivor. Natasha, welcome to NAV Forum.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you.
So how are you feeling today, Natasha?
I'm feeling quite well, actually. Thankfully, like you said in your introduction, I've survived cancer. It's been a journey. It's been interesting, lots of different treatments, but I'm here to tell my tale and just hopefully just to sort of reach and touch with anybody who's sort of going through this similar experience.
Can you tell us how this all started?
Yeah, after my 45th birthday, I noticed a lump. I probably had a lump on both breasts, actually. I probably had it there for about 6 months, ignored it, only because my mum was diagnosed with breast cancer the year before. So I you go through the stages of not wanting to touch yourself, not wanting to check your breasts. So I went to the GP. We're quite fortunate, actually, that we've got a one-stop shop for breast cancer. So I went along, went and saw the doctor, had mammograms done, had a biopsy, and then got diagnosed with cancer 2 weeks later.
So from diagnosis, how did you, they say there's like 6 stages of grief, so to speak. Did you go through any of those stages? How did you feel at that point when you were diagnosed?
Because there was a 2 weeks wait after seeing the doctors at the hospital until diagnosis, so I sort of left the hospital in a daze, really. You know, it's not known, you've just been told you've got cancer. I was 45, I've got young children, and in my head I just thought I was going to die. I just absolutely started planning my funeral, and yeah, it was bad. When I went back and they said to me, right, stage 1 hasn't spread, I sort of not accepted it, but you sort of, for me personally, I sort of felt, right, I can get through this, you know, have the operation and then have radiotherapy, not realising I was going to have chemotherapy. But I think for me now, the healing is only now taking place, you know, all the different stages, because you're no longer seeing the doctors weekly, you've no longer got access to the chemo nurses and everything that you had. So yeah, I think it's going through the stages of it now, really, more so than at the time.
So you could almost say during that period you was an autopilot.
Yeah, just being practical, doing what you've got to do, really, turning up for your hospital appointments, going through the treatment. Thankfully, I had a good family who supported me going through that, so, and friends as well. So it made it a lot easier.
But I mean, for me, it would be, was it a case that you were checking your breasts every often, or it was just, or the lump just came up by accident where you probably felt something and thinking, or was it painful, or because, you know, it's just for me to step it right back to the beginning of you discovering that there was a lump?
Yeah, I wasn't somebody who checked my breasts. As you know, we should always check our breasts. You know, I mean, we're in the shower, in the bath every day. You can just do a quick check from your neck down to your breasts, sort of onto your arms as well. But I didn't. Like I said, I didn't. If I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to say I did. But when, like I said, when my mum got diagnosed, then I really started checking myself. I didn't for a couple of months because you don't want to know or feel any lumps. But like I say, it was just a small lump, very different to my mum's lump, which was the top of her breast. That was quite hard and round, but my lump was soft and squidgy at the bottom of my breast, so very different. And I'm just glad I didn't sort of ignore it for much longer than I did really.
So what was going through your head when the doctor was breaking the news to you, and how did you cope in regards to what has just been said to you, being diagnosed of breast cancer?
I think I switched off. I heard those words, "you've got cancer," and that was it. I just kind of switched off. I had my mum there, my daughter there, and I just kind of, I just mentally, emotionally, I just kind of left the room. And it's only when she said to me it's stage 1, it hasn't spread. And having a bit of nursing knowledge as well, I thought, okay, that's manageable, I'm not going to die. And I think that was the most, for me, that's what got me through, knowing I'm not going to die, I'm not going to die. It was just a case of having the surgery, radiotherapy, like I say, not realising I had to have chemotherapy. And so I kind of got through it knowing that I'm not going to die.
And in terms, you talk about 2 treatments that you had. So you had chemotherapy, and then you had you had radiotherapy first.
Chemo first.
You had chemo first, and then you had radiotherapy.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long did you have chemotherapy for?
Initially, I was going to have a lumpectomy, which is just a removal of the lump. But mine was a little bit more complicated because I had something that they call calcium deposits, which in a nutshell, it's just changes of cells around the breast. So I had a mammoplasty, which has just taken a larger portion of the breast away. So at the moment I've got prosthesis in, but I do have some of my left breast there, with the prosthesis and my right breast. So I had the mammoplasty. That was quite intense. Normally a lumpectomy takes about 20 minutes, but my surgery was just under 4 hours. After that, in my head, I thought I was just going to have radiotherapy because that's the standard treatment. But when I went back to see the consultant and she had a look at my cells under the microscope and they suggested chemotherapy, I felt as if they'd taken me right back to when they said, "You've got cancer." So me being me, like everything else, I just thought, okay, it's chemotherapy, it can't be that bad. But again, that was challenging. I would say that was the most challenging part of the treatment, actually.
And how long did you have chemotherapy for?
Chemo started in April, 12th of April, I'll never forget those dates, and ended 9th of August. So that was over a 5-month period. And it was 12 cycles in total, so 3 cycles every 3 weeks of 2 drugs, and then 9 weeks of another common drug that they use for breast cancer and other cancers as well. 12 cycles in total. And then I had about a month's break, and I started radiotherapy for 4 weeks, and that was every day. So radiotherapy, that's just sort of targeting the area where the cancer was by high intensive X-ray.
Okay, so has this affected any relationship at all?
Yes, it has. A lot of people say I've had cancer, it changes me, and I don't think for me it has. I was sort of the mindset every day that every day is precious anyway. I don't know whether it's just because of the type of job that I do, being a nurse as well, so I value life. I was dating somebody at the time when it happened, but because of their reaction, I sort of called that off because it was just difficult. And cancer affects relationships, in different ways. Some partners are more, more involved, and others sort of don't know how to respond. So it was a new relationship. So for me, I thought it's just best to sort of end it really. And I think I did the right thing because I've not seen or heard from that person for a whole year, but I'm still here to tell the tale. It just proves that he obviously wasn't the right person. 2 weeks ago, I'd done a photo shoot, a topless photo shoot for breast cancer as well. And my daughter, who's been my absolute rock, had a breakdown in there. That was it was quite emotional actually. That was the first time. The photographer said to her, "And how are you doing?" And she just broke down. So literally since November 18 to 2 weeks ago, she hasn't cried at all. And I said to her, "I'm so glad you're crying." And she said to me, "Mum, I couldn't cry because I needed to hear what the doctors were saying, and if I cried, you thought it would be worse." So everybody's just different really. I think family have been great. They've always been there from day one.
My question is, because you were working before and have a job, so how did how long Did you have to take off from work, or at what stage did you go in to say, you know, I'm going to be off work? So it's just that sort of human side of things, you know, because I'm sure you weren't still working while you were going through all this treatment.
It's a funny one, isn't it? Because you would think if you've been diagnosed with cancer that there's lots of, I don't know, support and extra finances that you can get only if you're dying. So if you're dying and literally dying on death's door, you can get help. But even places like Cancer Research, they're there, they will offer financial advice, but there is nobody to give you that extra bit of money. I was quite fortunate, I worked for a private company, so I got diagnosed in November. I worked right up until the February when I had to go in and have my operation, and they paid me. Once I found out I had to have chemotherapy, again, they extended my pay by 5 months. But I mean, I was very fortunate. That's not the case for everybody.
Yeah.
I have known of people who've worked through chemotherapy. It's not advisable because, as you know, your immune system's low, it's compromised. But, you know, people have lost their homes through cancer because you can't work. And that's the downside of it, you know, there's no help there. But for me, I was quite fortunate that I was able to sort of get that support from work.
So are you back to work now, Natasha?
Yeah, I'm back to work now. I went back to work in December, so I'm on a phased return. They've been absolutely fantastic. It's sort of, I pick my own hours really, sort of pop in. I should say that in case they watch it. Turn up when I do. But no, they've been fantastic. A huge help, a huge support. But yeah, it's just nice to get aspects of your life back. Definitely, you know. I think sometimes I sit there like over the last couple of weeks and I think to myself, it doesn't even seem real. You know, unless I look in the mirror and I realise, oh gosh, I've got no hair, but it's growing back. But sometimes it feels as if it's happened to somebody else, you know.
So talking about hair, just wanted to ask, how did you feel when did it fall off or did you cut it off?
Ooh, as a black woman, we know what we're like. I ain't gonna lie with our hair. We know what we're like with our hair. And I think sometimes society also places, as women, regardless of your ethnicity, society says as females we must look a certain way.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at social media, if you look at magazines, adverts, women are portrayed in a certain way. You've got to have a certain body shape, you've got to look a certain way, you've got to have long, straight, well, yeah. So I was somebody that every week I'd have my different hair extensions, and I did enjoy my hair extensions, you know. I say to Veronica driving down, I love her hair. But my hair fell out on the second cycle of chemotherapy, and it's not the type of falling out that, you know, your hair just breaks, you comb it. It was literally coming out from the roots. So, yeah. And I was combing it, and it was just coming out, and literally you would touch it, not a lot of tension, and it would just be in your hand. And for me, I thought, right, I'm just going to try and take control, because with chemotherapy, there's not a lot you can control. And I just felt a lot better. My brother cutting all my hair off, we kind of made it into a big thing, and you know, he just shaved it all off. I videoed it, put it up on my Instagram. I'm not plugging my Instagram, but I put it up on my Instagram. And I felt a lot better, rather than waking up in the morning and you've got hair on the pillow. Or, so it's just nice to take control. And I did rock my bald head, absolutely. I covered it up for a couple of weeks, you know, because you're conscious of how you look. But my daughter, who's been my absolute rock, said, no mum, you look fine. So started going to the chemo unit, and one day I just walked out without it being covered. So yeah, it's really important.